Lowe's reading the tight housing market and the baby boomer tea leaves. In addition to blowout earnings, the home improvement giant said it's launching something called Livable Homes. This is a new partnership with AARP that's going to offer specific expertise, specific products, and installation education targeted directly at America's aging population and its shifting needs. Think tips to make your home fall-proof or stumble-proof, installation of ramps, bedside assistant products. And as for earnings, Lowe's knocked it out of the park in the third quarter, beating on both the top and bottom line, raising its annual revenue forecast. The home improvement retailer showing no signs of slowing down despite what we're all facing, this global supply chain crisis and rising inflation. As the stock bumps up against a record high, let's bring in the Lowe's president and CEO, Marvin Ellison. How did you guys beat the inflation grim reaper this quarter that everybody's looking at and dealing with?
Well, this is great to be here. It was a lot of work managing costs, but also finding ways to reduce expenses in other parts of the business so we could absorb some of the costs that we couldn't avoid and protect pricing. At the end of the day, we want customers to walk in, have a competitive pricing, a great service. And we're very fortunate with a very skilled team. We're able to make that happen in the third quarter.
Well, investors are believing it because the stock is moving higher. But what we've seen in the past, I want to say 72 hours, because this is sort of retail week where everybody's reporting their numbers, the word margins is getting a little touchy. And so if you're managing prices and I'm hearing you say you're not raising prices, how are you maintaining margins if you are?
Well, it's a combination of a lot of things. So we're fortunate. I think we're one of the few, if not the only, big box retailer this week that's reported margin rate improvement year over year. And we drove that simply by managing costs, but also in certain cases when we had the dramatic run up in lumber costs, we had no choice but to pass some of those prices on to competitors.
Right.
And that actually hurt our DIY, do-it-yourself demand. In the case of the third quarter, we had a combination of things. We had lumber deflation, dramatic price drop. You had copper inflation. They both neutralized each other. But then we had to manage all the supply chain costs that you talked about. So how do we improve margin? We reduced our shrinkage. We did a better job of making sure that we managed overall expenses around the other parts of the store. We had really good win-win negotiations with vendors to keep our first cost down, and we were able to manage pricing in a way where we didn't have to be as promotional, but we still were able to give a competitive price. So when you combine all those things together with an experienced management team with high demand, we're able to hit all those numbers, and I'm very proud of that.
Well, that's great, because people are really scrutinizing and familiarizing themselves with margins when it comes to these earnings reports. Yeah. Marvin, one of the things that I see as different from last year at this time is that last year the DIY, the do-it-yourself movement, was really driven by people who were in lockdown and wanted to improve their homes. Now it almost feels like the DIY issue is still there, but today the demand is driven by a shortage of inventory of homes, so people aren't so easily able to buy a new house that has the features that they want in it. What have you seen with your customers regarding that shift?
Well, there's two things. So 2 data points I think really interesting. So in the U.S. today, roughly 50% of the homes are 40 years or older. So that's the first time that's happened since World War II. In addition to that, when you look at the supply-demand situation with homes that you talked about, we estimate that there's a shortage of basically 1.5 million homes to meet the demand that's currently in the marketplace. So when that happens, it is a positive for home improvement because 2/3 of the business at Lowe's is repair, maintenance, and upgrade.
Right.
So when you're replacing a cabinet, when you're putting in new countertops, when you're replacing a floor, when you're patching up your roof, et cetera, that's 2/3 of our business. And so when you decide to stay in your home because there's no property on the marketplace that kind of meets your expectations, you say, well, okay, I'll just upgrade my kitchen. I'll finish out the basement. I'll expand the powder room. Right. Then that is our business, and that is more of a pro versus a DIY. Last year, our DIY business was driven almost exclusively by cleaning, by PPE, and by people who were nesting at home due to the mobility limits of the pandemic, and they were just finding things to do in the yard and around the house in small projects. A lot of those small projects now have turned into professional projects.
I like how you said nesting. I call it stuck. Thankfully, we've moved on from that. At least most of us have. This livable home new project that you're doing with the AARP, this comes at a particularly critical time, does it not? Where fewer, as I understand, fewer than 1% of homes have the proper features that support an aging homeowner. And it feels like you guys are reading the baby boomer tea leaves. I'd love to know where you see the revenue from this project going and where you see it moving.
Well, there's a quick story. So my dad is almost 80 years old, and he's living in the same house I grew up in, and he ain't moving. I mean, he's made that perfectly clear to me. So as this mobility becomes more and more limited, I was finding myself about 2.5 years ago trying to find ways to make the house more accessible for him. You know, walk-in tub, pull-down cabinets, you know, non-slip floors, grab bars, and I could find no place where I could go to one location and get everything. You know, my wife's mother needed a stair lift in her home, and the price she was given by the supplier was outrageous. And so it dawned on me, we have to figure out a way as a company that truly cares about our customers to pull all this in to create a one-stop shop project management for all of these things where a customer can come to us, they can trust the price, they can trust the quality, and they can trust the fact that we're going to be there for them throughout the whole project and in any time that they need us to come in to make a modification. And so it was born from that. And as I started to discuss my frustration, now I'm the CEO of a home improvement company, and I can't get this done. So I'm imagining this has got to be hard, really hard for everybody else. And so as I spoke to other executives, we started to do surveys. We realized this is a very fragmented industry that really takes advantage in some cases of the customer. So we pulled this together, as you said, and we believe with our collaboration with AARP, which is going to allow us to do a great job of providing training, branded content, videos, educational material for aging customers and homeowners, that we can give them something that really doesn't exist today in a very cohesive ecosystem.
Well, bless your dad, and I know exactly what you're talking about. We had to try and go to all different websites to get things to help my mom, and I think this is a great idea. Please come back again, Marvin. Thank you so much.
Hey, Liz, always good to see you.
Great to see you.